Imagine a world where the roar of combustion engines is replaced by the silent surge of electric power. A world where cars aren't just vehicles, but symbols of a seismic economic and technological shift. Now picture yourself in the middle of this transformation, with everything you know about driving, car ownership, and energy on the verge of upheaval. Would you embrace the tide or get swept away by it? Because as of 2025, the electric vehicle, or EV revolution, is not coming. It's here, and it's about to change, well, everything. But here's the twist. As electric cars flood the roads and headlines, deep questions linger beneath the surface about cost, infrastructure, and the unexpected ways this shift will reshape global economies and our very lifestyles. So, is the world truly ready for the electric era, or are we steering toward a high-voltage crash? Let's hit the accelerator and break it all down. In the past decade, electric cars have gone from fringe curiosity to mass-market mainstays. If you're shopping for a new car in the UK today, you can pick from more than 100 EVs, everything from tiny city runabouts to hulking 7-seater SUVs. Whether you want to zip through London in a sporty hatchback or load up the family for a road trip across the country, there's an electric option waiting for you, often with more space and tech than the petrol cars they're replacing. And it's not just about choice. It's about performance and convenience. Top EVs now boast official ranges above 400 miles on a single charge, a figure that would have sounded like science fiction 10 years ago. Charging is faster than ever, too. Models like the Kia EV3 or Volkswagen ID.7 can fill their batteries to 80% in under 20 minutes. Forget sipping questionable coffee at a service station for an hour. A quick pit stop is all you need before you're back on the road. Prices? They're falling fast. The cheapest new EVs in the UK now start below $15,000. Even high-tech models from Tesla and Hyundai are more accessible than ever, thanks to aggressive discounts and 0% financing deals. In some cases, monthly payments for an EV are lower than for the petrol or diesel equivalent. No wonder the numbers are exploding. In 2024, global EV sales soared past 17 million, a 25% jump in just 1 year, and now make up over 20% of all new cars sold worldwide. China leads the charge, accounting for 2/3 of global EV sales and nearly half their own domestic market. Norway? They've gone even further. A staggering 88% of new cars there are battery electric vehicles. And in the UK, EVs have already grabbed more than 40% of the market in 2025. It sounds like the future is already here, but look closer, and the race is just beginning. What's powered this electric surge? For one, relentless advances in battery technology. Early electric cars were hampered by pitiful ranges and slow, tedious charging. Now, thanks to breakthroughs in lithium-ion designs and futuristic research into solid-state, graphene, and sodium-ion batteries, today's EVs are safer, go farther, and recharge faster. Toyota's latest solid-state battery, for example, could double energy density compared to existing lithium packs, propelling electric cars into a new league of performance and reliability. Government policy has also played a pivotal role. Across Europe, Asia, and North America, bold regulations and generous subsidies have forced car makers to speed up their electrification plans. Countries like the UK have introduced strict mandates, such as the Vehicle Emissions Trading Scheme, which requires that over 1/5 of all new vehicle registrations must be battery electric or hydrogen fuel cell models. The US, meanwhile, is aiming for half of all new vehicles sold to be electric by 2030, with billions funneled into charging infrastructure, tax credits, and manufacturing incentives. And don't underestimate the pull of public opinion. As climate change worries climb and cities choke with smog, consumers are voting with their wallets and expecting their governments to act. The switch to electric cars isn't just about tech, it's about survival and a better quality of life. But, as every revolution has its hidden challenges and unintended consequences, the EV boom is far from a straight road. Let's talk economics. Although operational costs for EVs are now often lower than for traditional cars, thanks to cheap electricity and fewer moving parts, the upfront price tag can still be daunting, especially for larger models. And governments, feeling the pinch from declining petrol tax revenues, are starting to claw back subsidies and introduce new taxes just as EVs enter the mainstream. For example, the UK will soon levy a vehicle excise duty on new electric cars, starting at £10 in the first year, then jumping to $195 annually, with expensive vehicles taxed even more steeply. The £40,000 threshold for the UK's luxury car tax unfairly penalizes EV owners, because electric vehicles already have higher upfront costs, notes the team at electrifying.com. The playing field, it seems, is shifting. Now let's zoom out to infrastructure. What happens when millions of battery-powered cars need charging, day and night, in city centers and on rural backroads? Charging points have multiplied rapidly, and new funding from governments and utilities is pouring in. The UK's workplace charging scheme, for instance, now covers up to £350 per charging socket, helping businesses and apartment blocks install vital access points. Globally, companies like EV Connect have secured over $2.6 billion in incentives to expand networks. Industry experts predict that electric vehicles, EV, will account for 40% of car sales by 2030, says an EV Connect spokesperson. But the challenge is massive, ensuring chargers are everywhere people need them, and that power grids can handle the surge when everyone plugs in after work. Ranjit Desai from the National Renewable Energy Laboratory warns, today's electric vehicle charging infrastructure costs vary significantly, dependent on various factors such as the type of chargers and location. Then there's battery production, a story of both hope and anxiety. Battery manufacturing is getting cleaner and more efficient, yet the supply chain for critical materials like lithium, cobalt, and nickel remains fraught with risks. Mining these minerals raises serious environmental and ethical concerns, from rainforest destruction to child labor in developing countries. And recycling? It's a work in progress. By 2025, regulators are expected to demand much stricter standards for battery recycling and safe end-of-life management. Michael Cooper at H.B. Fuller says, manufacturers are trying to remove as much weight and complexity in a battery as possible. The transition from module to pack removes a significant portion of the material weight and increases the battery's power density. And as batteries become more powerful, thermal management and safety are bigger engineering headaches than ever. This EV revolution isn't just a car story, it's a global economic story. Entire industries and millions of jobs hang in the balance. Auto giants are pouring billions into retooling factories and retraining workers. New startups are springing up, from battery tech to recycling to software for managing charging stations. Governments see opportunity, new jobs, cleaner air, less dependence on imported oil, but risk as well, especially if their domestic industries lag behind. Look at the possible futures in front of us. In the best-case scenario, radical battery innovations slash costs, boost range to over 600 miles, and make charging as quick as a coffee break, no subsidies needed, and mass adoption follows. But what if infrastructure fails to keep up? Cities might flourish, but rural drivers could be left stranded without adequate charging. Or, if political winds shift and subsidies vanish, manufacturers and buyers could be thrown into chaos, stalling the entire transition. And let's not ignore the risks. Supply chain shocks could disrupt battery supplies, global economic downturns could chill investment, or cybersecurity threats could paralyze entire networks of smart chargers. The stakes are enormous, and the outcome is still uncertain. For now, consumers are caught between excitement and skepticism. Is this brave new world truly affordable and accessible for everyone? As batteries and battery-related electronics become more powerful, they generate more heat during operation. There's a need for improved thermal management and stronger thermally conductive adhesives and encapsulants to remove heat from the electronic components, advises Florian Schlegel from H.B. Fuller. It's a reminder that beneath the glamour, complex engineering problems remain. We're at a fork in the road. More than 20 million EVs are expected to sell globally by next year, representing a quarter of all new car sales. The UK's market is surging, but with looming tax changes and a patchwork of infrastructure, even the most enthusiastic drivers must weigh up the trade-offs. So, just as electric cars hit the mainstream, are we ready for the second, harder phase of the revolution? Will costs and infrastructure keep up with demand? Are governments and automakers prepared for the deep systemic changes ahead? Or are new obstacles, economic, technical, and even social, about to slow down the electric juggernaut? Stay with us as we dive into the next big dilemma. Who wins, who loses, and what shocks are waiting just around the corner in the electric car revolution? As we dive into what comes next, the electric vehicle revolution enters its most unpredictable and high-stakes phase. Having ridden waves of technological innovation and surging demand, the world stands at a crossroads. Can our infrastructure, our economics, and our policies really keep pace? And more provocatively, who stands to win or lose as electric mobility becomes truly mainstream? Let's start with the future that's rapidly materializing before our eyes. Global EV sales topped a staggering 17 million units in 2024, making up over 20% of all new car sales. EVs are no longer a fringe technology or a status symbol for tech enthusiasts. They're on their way to becoming the default choice. China alone accounted for two-thirds of these sales, and Norway has already reached a point where almost every car sold is electric. The UK and US are racing forward with tough policy targets. The writing is on the wall. The world is going electric, fast. But as the International Energy Agency warns, the growth of electric vehicles is only as sustainable as the infrastructure and supply chains that support it. Let's imagine three possible futures. In the first scenario, a technological leap, maybe Toyota's much-anticipated solid-state battery or a breakthrough in sodium-ion chemistry, pushes EV range beyond 600 miles with under 15-minute charging. Suddenly, the critical pain points for consumers vanish. Electric and petrol vehicles reach price parity without the need for subsidies. The public, rural and urban alike, embraces EVs at scale. The world's largest automakers double down, and oil demand tumbles. Cities breathe cleaner air, and new industries born from battery tech and recycling create millions of jobs. In this future, everyone from city commuters to long-haul drivers finds an EV that fits their life and their wallet. But there's another, less rosy scenario. Suppose infrastructure doesn't keep up, particularly in rural areas where charging points are scarce and unreliable. City dwellers zip around in Teslas, Kias, or Dacias, but rural drivers are left out, unable to charge conveniently and forced to stick with petrol or diesel. A gap grows between the haves and have-nots. The promise of EVs as an equalizer falls flat, creating a two-speed world. As the National Renewable Energy Laboratory's Ranjit Desai notes, charging infrastructure costs and deployment rates are highly variable, with significant regional disparities. A third scenario hinges on politics. Government incentives and policies have been the rocket fuel of the EV revolution. But what happens if those policies shift? The UK, for example, is introducing a vehicle excise duty on EVs in 2025, including a luxury tax for vehicles above £40,000, despite higher upfront EV costs. Electrifying.com's analysts warn, the £40,000 threshold unfairly penalizes EV owners and risks slowing adoption. If subsidies are rolled back before battery costs truly fall, we could see a slowdown, or even a backlash, against electric cars. And with global supply chains under pressure from geopolitics and resource constraints, the risk of raw material shortages or price spikes looms large. Beneath these headline scenarios are deeper challenges and opportunities. Take the supply chain. The world's EV batteries rely heavily on materials like lithium, cobalt, and nickel, often mined in politically unstable or environmentally sensitive regions. Ethical sourcing is a real concern. At the same time, governments and companies are rushing to secure supply chains, invest in domestic mining and recycling, and even develop new battery chemistries to avoid bottlenecks. Meanwhile, battery recycling and end-of-life management are emerging as critical battlegrounds. H.B. Fuller's Jessica Sundberg offers a glimpse of hope. Debonding on demand offers a pathway to streamlined operations and reduced environmental impact for automakers and battery producers. Green tech, circular economy models, and recycling innovations will be key not just for sustainability, but for long-term competitiveness. And let's not forget cybersecurity. As EVs become ever more connected, relying on smart charging networks and advanced software, they become potential targets for digital attacks. A hacked EV charging network could disrupt entire cities. As Michael Cooper of H.B. Fuller observes, manufacturers are trying to remove as much weight and complexity in a battery as possible. But the flip side is that more electronics equals more digital vulnerability. On the flip side, the opportunities are vast. Entirely new industries are emerging. Companies building fast-charging infrastructure, battery recyclers, software firms specializing in EV management and energy optimization, skilled labor in battery assembly and maintenance. According to industry experts, the sector could account for 40% of all car sales worldwide by 2030, with a market topping $800 billion. For countries and workers that pivot fast, the EV wave could mean prosperity, cleaner air, and global leadership. For those left behind, it could mean lost jobs and opportunities. This brings us to you, the viewer. What does this tangled, rapidly evolving landscape mean for you in practical terms? Let's boil down the key takeaways. First, the past barriers to EV adoption are, for many, already falling. The choices are broader than ever. Over 100 models now on sale in the UK alone, from the ultra-budget Dacia Spring to the tech-heavy Tesla Model 3 and family-friendly Kia EV3. Real-world range has climbed dramatically, with many models now offering 300 to 400 miles per charge, enough for most people's daily, even weekly needs. Charging speeds have improved too. Several models now can recharge to 80% in less than 20 minutes at fast chargers. If you're considering an EV, here's what matters most. Understand your daily driving needs. Most EVs on the market comfortably meet the range requirements for the vast majority of commutes and errands. If you regularly drive cross-country, look for models with the highest range and fastest charging. Charging at home is a game changer. If you have off-street parking, installing a wall box charger, often subsidized by schemes like the UK's workplace charging scheme, will make your EV life vastly easier and cheaper. Nighttime charging can take advantage of lower tariffs, saving hundreds each year. Pay attention to warranty and support. Battery warranties are longer and more generous than ever, with many brands offering coverage of up to 8 years or 100,000 miles. That means much lower risk and better peace of mind. Factor in total cost, not just sticker price. While EVs can cost more upfront, lower fueling and maintenance costs often make them cheaper over time. With additional incentives or tax breaks, like the UK's company car benefits, they can be significantly more affordable than you might expect. Consider future-proofing. With technology moving so fast, choose brands with a solid reputation for over-the-air updates and robust software support. This will keep your EV up to date with the latest features and safety improvements long after purchase. And for those who can't or don't want to buy new, the used EV market is maturing rapidly. Prices for second-hand EVs are falling, offering access to reliable electric mobility at a fraction of the new car price. Just make sure to check battery health and warranty status before buying. But perhaps the most crucial lesson is this: the EV revolution is not just about cars, it's about the future of transport, energy, and even your neighborhood. As battery storage and renewable energy scale up, your EV may soon be able to power your home during outages, or feed energy back into the grid for a profit. The lines between car, home, and energy supplier are blurring fast. So, to circle back to our original question, as electric vehicles reach mainstream status, will infrastructure, economics, and policy keep up, and who will truly win or lose? The answer is, it depends. But the balance of evidence is strong that the world is moving, at increasing speed, toward electrification. Those countries, companies, and individuals who adapt early by building robust charging networks, investing in battery innovation, supporting smart policy, and making informed buying choices, stand to reap the greatest rewards. Cleaner air, lower carbon emissions, energy independence, and broad economic opportunity are all within reach. But the risks of lagging behind, of failing to build equitable infrastructure or to secure sustainable supply chains, are real, and could leave segments of the population or whole regions stranded on the wrong side of history. The next 5 years will be decisive. Will we see a seamless transition in which EVs become the bedrock of cleaner, fairer mobility, or a messy, uneven shift with winners and losers? That story is still unwritten, and your choices and your voice are part of it. And here's a secret fact many don't realize. The biggest winners may not be traditional automakers, but companies that master battery recycling and software for energy management. Just as smartphones upended tech by making software king, the EV era could crown new giants: battery recyclers, grid integrators, and charging network operators. Maybe the next Tesla is a company you've never heard of, yet. So, what should you do now? Stay informed. Ask tough questions of policymakers and automakers. Demand better infrastructure and fairer pricing. And if you're shopping for a car, don't be afraid to test drive an EV. The future of driving is being built today, not tomorrow. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit like, subscribe for more insights on the rapidly changing world of mobility, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What excites you or worries you most about the great electric transition? Do you see yourself behind the wheel of an EV soon?